We begin with breaking news out of the auto sector. In the wake of President Donald Trump's 25% tariffs on imported vehicles, Japanese automakers Toyota, Honda, and Nissan are making strategic shifts that could deal a devastating blow to the U.S. auto industry. Social media platforms like X are abuzz with claims that these companies are, quote, pulling the trigger to crush American car makers. But what's really happening? Let's dive into the facts. It's April 23rd, 2025, and the U.S. auto market is in turmoil. On April 3rd, President Trump imposed a 25% tariff on all imported vehicles and a 10% tariff on auto parts, targeting countries like Japan, Canada, and Mexico. The goal: boost American manufacturing by making foreign cars more expensive. But the response from Japanese automakers is raising alarms. Toyota, Honda, and Nissan, three of the biggest players in the U.S. market, are doubling down on strategies that could squeeze Detroit's big three and jack up prices for consumers. Toyota, the world's top-selling automaker, is reportedly considering adding U.S. production of its popular RAV4 SUV to shield it from tariffs. Sources tell Reuters that Toyota's move could increase its U.S. output by 50,000 units annually, leveraging its 10 plants across states like Kentucky and Texas, where 47% of its 2024 U.S. sales were already built. But here's the catch. Analysts warn this shift could flood the market with pricier vehicles, as Toyota passes on tariff costs. Honda's taken a similar tack. The company announced it's shifting production of its next-generation Civic Hybrid from Mexico to Indiana, a move that protects it from the 25% import levy. Honda's U.S. plants already produce 70% of its American-sold vehicles, giving it a tariff edge. But a Goldman Sachs report estimates Honda could still face an 8% profit hit due to supply chain disruptions. Nissan, meanwhile, is slashing Japanese production of its top-selling Rogue SUV by 13,000 units from May to July, redirecting focus to its U.S. and Mexican plants. But 27% of Nissan's U.S. sales come from Mexico, where tariffs are biting hard. The company's already cut prices on U.S.-built Rogues and Pathfinders to stay competitive, but its Mexican-made Kicks and Sentra models could see price hikes of up to $5,000. These moves sound like survival tactics, but why are they being framed as a threat to the U.S. auto industry? Posts on X claim Toyota, Honda, and Nissan are crushing American car makers, with some users pointing to their massive U.S. investments as a power grab. We need to stress, these claims are inconclusive and largely speculative. To get clarity, we turn to our auto industry correspondent in Detroit. I am reporter name in Detroit, where the mood is tense. General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, the big three, are facing a perfect storm. Trump's tariffs were meant to protect American jobs, but Japanese automakers' quick pivots are putting pressure on Detroit's market share. Let's talk numbers. Toyota, Honda, and Nissan together hold nearly 30% of the U.S. market, rivaling the big three. Their U.S. plants employ 100,000 workers and produce millions of vehicles annually, giving them a tariff workaround. But here's why Detroit's worried. Japanese brands are known for affordable, reliable cars like the Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic, and Nissan Sentra, models that dominate the under $30,000 segment. Cox Automotive reports that 80% of vehicles in this price range, including these models, are hit by tariffs, driving up costs. These tariffs are a double-edged sword. They're supposed to help American workers, but Japanese companies are outmaneuvering us. They've got plants here, they're ramping up production, and they're eating our lunch in the affordable car market. If GM and Ford can't compete on price, we're looking at layoffs, plain and simple. Fane's not alone. S&P Global Mobility slashed its 2025 U.S. sales forecast by 700,000 vehicles, warning that tariffs could trigger a downturn rivaling the 2008 Lehman collapse or COVID shutdowns. Local dealers tell me customers are already balking at new car prices, which Bank of America says could jump $10,000 for tariffed models like the Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V. Those price hikes hit hard, especially for budget-conscious buyers. But what's driving these Japanese automakers to act so fast? And how's it reshaping the global auto landscape? For that, we go to our economics analyst. The U.S. auto market is ground zero for a global trade war, and Japanese automakers are playing chess while others are playing checkers. Let's break it down. Toyota, Honda, and Nissan aren't just reacting to Trump's 25% tariffs. They're leveraging their U.S. footprint to minimize damage. Toyota's 47% U.S.-built sales and Honda's 70% give them a shield most European and Chinese brands don't have. Nissan's more exposed, with 27% of its U.S. sales from Mexico, but it's cutting Japanese output to lean on Tennessee plants. Goldman Sachs estimates Toyota and Honda will see profit cuts of 6% and 8% respectively, but Nissan could lose a staggering 56% due to its reliance on Mexican production. This explains their urgency. By shifting production to the U.S., they avoid tariffs and keep prices competitive, but it's not cost-free. Supply chain disruptions and retooling plans could add $5,000 to $8,500 per vehicle for models like the Toyota Corolla or Honda Odyssey. Now, the global picture. Japan's auto industry, which accounts for 3% of its GDP, faces a $25 billion hit from U.S. tariffs, with Toyota shouldering half. In response, Japan's government is offering subsidies to soften the blow. But companies like Nissan are already idling Mexican plants, laying off workers. Canada's no better. Its 25% retaliatory tariffs are disrupting cross-border supply chains, impacting 1.3 million vehicles built by Toyota, Honda, and others for the U.S. market. For U.S. consumers, it's a gut punch. Cox Automotive says 80% of vehicles under $30,000, think Nissan Sentra, Honda HR-V, face tariff costs, pushing prices up. Used car prices are also rising as buyers flood that market to avoid new car sticker shock. The Anderson Economic Group estimates a $30 billion hit to U.S. consumers in the first year alone. Is this crushing the U.S. auto industry? Not yet, but it's a serious threat. Japanese brands are outpacing Detroit in the affordable segment, and if the big three can't match their prices, market share and jobs are at risk. Trump's betting tariffs will bring manufacturing home, but right now it's Japanese brands winning that game.